Welcome and thank you for joining us at this 31st AGM, whether you are here in person or online. Special greetings to the new fellows participating for the first time. Your fellowship is an esteemed recognition of excellence by intellectual peers. Today, you begin a new journey as a top member of the ASM Expert Network. This marks another milestone for ASM, whereby each fellow's expertise expands and deepens our pool of collective intelligence, enabling us to build greater intellectual capacity in supporting national progress. Before we begin, let us take a pause to remember and honor 10 of our colleagues who we have lost recently. Their deep scholarship, wisdom, and contributions underpin our achievements today. They are Allahyarham Emeritus Professor Dr. Masjuki Hassan, Allahyarham Professor Datin Dr. Farida Hanum Ibrahim, Allahyarham Datuk Dr. Kamaruddin Abdul Malik, Allahyarham Emeritus Professor Datuk Dr. Ahmad Adam, Allahyarham Datuk Engineer Mama Adam Adnan Mama Noor, Allahyarham Professor Emeritus Dr. Buhari Mama Yamin, the late Professor Dr. Shamala Devi K.C. Sekaran, the late Dr. Madeline Burma, Allahyarham Datuk Dr. Razak Mama Ali, and lastly, Allahyarham Professor Dr. Zulkifli Yusuf. For Muslims, I kindly request that we recite Al-Fatiha, while others may offer respects in their own way. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you. Senior Fellows and Fellows of ASM, I'm honored to review what we have accomplished in the last 1 year to strengthen our legacy of evidence-based strategic studies for the nation's benefit. ASM's role continues to evolve, not because science has shifted its foundations, but because the world around us is radically transforming and at a rapid pace. In recent weeks, we have witnessed how quickly geopolitical forces have reshaped the global order. This is the reality of post-normal times, an era in which chaos, complexity, and contradictions reorganizes the world we live in. Instability and uncertainty have become the defining features or the new norms of post-normal change. As the national think tank in science, technology, innovation, and economy, or briefly STIE, ASM must play a central role in helping policymakers to correctly interpret and proactively confront the potential impacts of uncertainty. We have become more adept at convening multi-stakeholder engagements through which we integrate knowledge across disciplines and translate the collected evidence into cogent decisions and recommendations that serve the public good. ASM gives voice to all stakeholders, in particular those who are often marginalized, such as civil society, indigenous communities, women, and youth. In doing so, we create an open and participative space for the conduct of independent, credible, and trusted studies grounded on sound evidence and systematic analysis. Inclusivity, objectivity, and rationality facilitate community-wide idea sharing and learning. The uncertainties of post-normal change become more visible and amenable to solution development, especially so when alternative trajectories of the future are openly and rationally discussed, and their respective threats, challenges, and potential responses objectively debated. ASM has built a strong foundation on which we can harness our collective human will and agency to act. Clearly, this foundation is only as robust as our intellectual assets. This is where our core strength lies. The expert network of senior fellows, top research scientists, the young scientist network, and associates. Everyone comes together to create collective intelligence and render wise counsel. The expert network is continually expanding and needs to be so. ASM engages with multiple stakeholders of the quadruple helix, through which we find an increasing number of experts and activists, movers and shakers who share the same vision of national development based on the human capacity to innovate. Orchestrating and curating the activities of this network is a task assigned to a dedicated ASM management team led by Puan Hazami Habib and 104 staff. Often hidden and under-recognized, they operate the wheels that turn raw ideas into meaningful national outcomes and impacts. Let me reflect on three perspectives of ASM's work that have made a difference to the world around us. First, the situation that Malaysia finds itself today. Second, the work we carried out that moved the needle and why they matter to the country. And third, how we ensure that great ideas are translated into delivered outcomes that create lasting public value for Malaysia. Senior fellows and fellows, so where do we find ourselves today? In a period of complexity and accelerating change, rival narratives compete for attention, and trust begins to turn fragile. Malaysia's often contentious discourse on policy, economy, and society reflects this new reality of rising dispute and tension. Central to this shift is the recognition that Malaysia's challenges are increasingly interconnected, such as climate change, energy transition, economic transformation, social well-being, and talent development, which can no longer be addressed in isolation. They require integrated system-level approaches that draw on multiple disciplines and perspectives from the quadruple helix. ASM has to operate as super connectors within a broader national development ecosystem. Navigating this juncture of shifting interconnections demands coherent collaboration founded upon a shared sense of purpose. To be sure, ASM's role must extend beyond analysis. We must convene meetings to expose diverse voices, bridge divides, and synthesize common purpose for collective action. Thereby, we may position science as a trusted source of guidance in calming an increasingly polarized world. ASM's efforts to build on years of patient groundwork. Each study ultimately connects to a single purpose: to strengthen the nation's well-being, resilience, and prosperity. Senior fellows and fellows, let us look at our increasing impact. The second part. The year 2025 marked more than another milestone for ASM. While celebrating our 30th anniversary, we also began shaping our strategic plan for 2026 to 2030 based on the return on values approach, moving beyond outputs to focus on meaningful outcomes and impacts. Thank you to all those who contributed to the development of this strategic plan and to the ASM Secretary General, Professor Noah Sohada, for leading this initiative. Let us highlight some salient features. even though the plan is still being refined. Our mission is to be a STIE thought leader and change maker in creating a progressive, harmonious, prosperous, and sustainable society. The vision is to catalyze transformative impact through STIE for the progress of society and the global community. The plan sets out an integrated framework comprising 5 strategic goals, 6 core strategies, and 7 key action plans. To operationalize the plan for the next 5 years, ASM will champion a holistic, mission-oriented approach to drive coordinated and integrated national action. We need to increase our visibility among stakeholders and touch every segment of the community. Through expanded and well-targeted STIE communication, advocacy, and science diplomacy, we aim to enhance the citizens' readiness to smoothly navigate the turbulent transition to the post-normal era. We will circulate the finalized strategic plan by June 2026. ASM developed the National Research Development, Innovation, Commercialization and Economy Roadmap, or RDICE, as mandated by MOSTI, which was officially launched on the 6th of October 2025. The roadmap serves as a structured framework to strengthen the competitiveness, inclusivity, and integration of Malaysia's STIE ecosystem with a focus on increasing private sector participation. It strengthens STIE governance for greater coordination and accountability, and it prioritizes mission-oriented initiatives to address the nation's grand challenges. Supporting this initiative is the Malaysia Science Endowment, a sustainable fund that enables long-term and impact-driven research and innovation. It will realize the much-needed financial stability to turn strategic priorities into actionable, well-resourced programs. MSE's first project is to allocate 92 million to elevate Malaysia's position in advanced semiconductor packaging. 5 companies in the packaging value chain have come together to match another 93 million, making the total funding for this project 195 million. This mission-oriented partnership marks a strategic shift towards deeper vertical integration in the semiconductor industry. Evidently, competing companies are willing to collaborate closely, combining their expertise and resources in fulfilling a common national mission to capture 7% of the global advanced packaging market by the year 2035. That he just mentioned that this will not happen if ASM was not there to become the broker. The iConnect project that ASM initiated to cross the innovation chasm inspired us to develop the Innovation Readiness Level Framework, or IRL, which goes beyond the technology readiness level methodology that many of us are familiar with. The IRL evaluates innovation readiness across 11 key dimensions, from technology maturity to market and customer understanding. ASM is proposing that the governments and other innovation-oriented organizations adopt the IRL and integrate it into their respective funding evaluation processes. In addition to advanced packaging, ASM is currently working on another 5 mission-oriented national initiatives designed to bring together government, industry, academia, and civil society to accomplish mutually agreed goals. They are food security and sovereignty, value creation in the oil palm industry, quantum technologies, digital healthcare, and aging society. 2 mission-oriented initiatives have already progressed into early activation: food security and sovereignty, and value creation in the oil palm industry. Together, these missions promote a coordinated and integrated effort to enhance innovation, productivity, and resilience in order to secure long-term value creation across Malaysia's key agricultural sectors. Recently, I had the privilege to reflect on the research to real-world impact gap in a panel discussion on the messy middle of innovation at Convosphere, Signal in the Noise. Discussion among leaders across policy, research, and industry highlighted how silos and fragmentation continue to obstruct the path from discovery to real-world application. This is precisely where mission-oriented approaches become critical, aligning grand challenges with targeted missions and mobilizing stakeholders to jointly and collectively drive coordinated delivery. Financial stability is a fundamental pillar towards meeting our objectives in an increasingly dynamic global environment. Our reserves have been significantly strengthened, growing from 1.5 million in 2016 to 11.2 million in 2025. At present, this available reserve is sufficient to cover approximately 6 months of operating expenditure. For context, ASM requires between 17 and 20 million annually to sustain our operational needs. Beyond internal financial resilience, ASM is strengthening its strategic national role through the MSE. Since 2023, ASM has been entrusted by the government to manage an initial 250 million endowment fund. This serves as a catalyst to attract additional contributions, either as outright donations or through R&D co-investment. This is expected to significantly increase national R&D funds that come from non-government sources. MSE complements mission-oriented initiatives mentioned, allowing its ASM to amplify its impact on the national STIE ecosystem. To date, the fund has generated 19.8 million surplus, which has been channeled towards implementing key STIE programs. The 250 million principal remains intact, fully intact. Only investment returns may be utilized, subject to strict approvals from the Malaysia Science Endowment Board and the Ministry of Finance. This framework reinforces financial prudence and discipline, enhances transparency, and ensures long-term sustainability in supporting the nation's science agenda. Senior fellows and fellows, advances in science, technology, and innovation do not automatically produce shared prosperity. Much depends on the institutions and governance systems and processes that prepare citizens to participate in and drive innovation for the common good. Ultimately, the strength of a nation rests on the creative will of its people and the education system that empowers them. This is where the National Education Reform Study represents one of ASM's most important contributions with far-reaching impact on our future. The entire education ecosystem, from early childhood to lifelong learning, is set to be transformed. Extensive stakeholder engagement was conducted involving 3,715 stakeholders nationwide from October 2024 to July 2025. 5 regional workshops, 39 focus group discussions, and a nationwide survey were carried out, capturing insights from government, academia, industry, educators, learners, parents, training providers, investors, and civil society. Major policy recommendations have been incorporated in the 13th Malaysia Plan. Here are some key decisions. Make preschool education accessible, free and compulsory. Establish a National Education Council to coordinate and monitor the sector. And strengthen the promotion of STEM and TVET as essential and respected pathways within the national education system. If education prepares society for the future, then planetary health seeks to build a future worth preparing for. In recent years, we have become acutely aware that the environmental degradation, public health, food systems, and economic resilience can no longer be treated as separate domains. The National Planetary Health Action Plan, NPHAP, responds to this reality by calling for a shift from aspirational goals to institutionalized statecraft. Mandated by the National Science Council, the plan is a whole-of-nation framework that realigns development within planetary boundaries. NPHAP sets out 6 key result areas, supported by 53 strategies and 222 action plans, all reinforced by 3 key implementation mechanisms: a transformational sustainability leadership module, an impact tracking framework, and a national environmental genomic database. Malaysia's leadership in planetary health was recognized at the 2025 Planetary Health Annual Meeting in Rotterdam, making us the first nation in the world to advance science-based planetary health strategies as a national policy. ASM expanded our international science diplomacy through platforms such as APEC and regional science alliances, extending Malaysia's influence in shaping regional conversations while enriching global insights that inform our national priorities. Through the APEC Open Science Alliance, APECOSA, ASM advances collaboration, transparency, and responsible data sharing across the region. Malaysia, represented by ASM and Mohd, also convened a consultative workshop in Guangzhou alongside APEC SOM 1 2026. The workshop brought together 10 economies to strengthen key areas for collaboration, including policy, data infrastructure, capacity building, and funding. Malaysia also leads the Mission-Oriented Innovation Policy Working Committee at APEC, bringing together 9 economies to pilot mission-driven innovation in development approaches. These efforts focus on shared priorities, including food security, sustainability, health, and emerging technologies. Targeted for endorsement at SOM 3 2026, the initiative promotes outcome-driven innovation in building a stronger regional ecosystem. ASM spearheaded the ASEAN Ahead, ASEAN SDI Ecosystem Foresight 2035 and Beyond report, the first regional foresight exercise of its kind. Developed with partners across the ASEAN Foresight Alliance and led by ASM, the report outlines strategic pathways to strengthen ASEAN's science, technology, and innovation ecosystem. At its core, the 10 ASEAN SDI framework, which aligns socio-economic priorities, science and technology drivers, and major forces of change shaping the region's future. The foresight exercise identifies collective prosperity as ASEAN's preferred pathway, one where economic progress, environmental stewardship, and social cohesion advance in concert. ASM is also supporting responsible resource governance at home. Through the Memorandum of Agreement with the Sarawak government, we are contributing to the development of policy and guidelines for the development of the mineral industry in Sarawak. As demand grows globally for critical materials that power digital and clean energy technologies, responsible management of these resources is essential. Science must guide the development of these gifts from nature by balancing economic potential with environmental stewardship and long-term sustainability. ASM is also advancing frontier science through technology-driven initiatives that deepen understanding of Malaysia's critical ecosystem. An example is precision biodiversity, which combines digital tools, artificial intelligence, and advanced monitoring to improve ecosystem management. This effort is already yielding tangible results. AI models under the PBD system have been trained to recognize over 40 wildlife species, 52 plant species, and 41 insect species in Paso Forest Reserve Negeri Sembilan, with accuracy reaching 99.5%. This demonstrates the strength of Malaysia's local data collection and scientific capability in advancing biodiversity intelligence. More than 52 hectares of forest in Paso have been fully digitized, capturing detailed information on tree species composition, forest structure, and 7 ecological metrics, while providing a high-resolution baseline for continuous monitoring, simulation, and sustainable forest management. Recognizing the vast yet underutilized potential of marine and coastal resources, the Ministry of Economy has positioned the blue economy as a strategic pillar of national development under the 13th Malaysia Plan, aligning economic ambition with environmental stewardship and societal well-being. KE appointed ASM to translate this vision into action. The Malaysia Blue Economy Blueprint, MBEB, draws on the expertise of 36 academics and industry representatives, leveraging on science, technology, and innovation in implementing sustainable, knowledge-based, and globally competitive growth. By 2040, MBEB is projected to contribute up to 1 trillion to Malaysia's GDP through technological advancement and innovation in 7 priority areas, which include shipping and maritime transport, blue renewable energy, and desalination. This blueprint was recently presented to the National Economic Action Council, or M10, chaired by the Prime Minister. Senior fellows and fellows, having reflected on what we have achieved, we now turn to the third perspective. How do we ensure that ideas are translated into real outcomes that benefit all Malaysians? This requires more than good thinking. It requires governance systems that connect people, align goals, and facilitate delivery. ASM's strength lies in its people. From 50 founding fellows, our expert network has grown to 1,083 individuals across disciplines spanning government, industry, academia, and civil society. This diversity enables us to move beyond scientific analysis, expediting mobilization of collective knowledge, and wisdom towards coordinated national action. Even so, expertise alone is not enough. Delivery depends on robust value systems, which include integrity, accountability, and a shared vision of development. These principles guide how our expert network contributes not just ideas, but solutions that ignite collective and individual agency for focus and sustained action. This commitment is reflected in the work that our expert network undertook throughout 2025. In today's contested media environment, misinformation can outpace fact-based evidence. Trust becomes a critical enabler of legitimate delivery. ASM's role does not stop at generating knowledge. We have to ensure that our message is credible, communicated clearly, and applied responsibly in shaping decisions and empowering action. By translating evidence into compelling stories, using accessible language, and engaging stakeholders across the quadruple helix, we aim to demonstrate clearly that ASM's primary role is to catalyze solutions that improve lives and strengthen the nation's future. ASM works closely with national government governance platforms, especially the National Science Council, while at the same time strengthening the link between federal strategies and state-level execution through platforms such as the meeting of state executive councillors responsible for SDI or Mexico SDI. Through these mechanisms, we help to align SDIE priorities across ministries, ensuring that policies are not only coherent but also implementable. This will also facilitate adoption and adaptation of solutions to local contexts, translating them to deliver tangible community benefits. Senior fellows and fellows, as we conclude, let us return to what truly matters. The challenges before us are complex, interconnected, and constantly evolving. Yet they also present opportunities to lead with conceptual clarity, guided by impactful science and anchored in shared purpose. Looking ahead, the task is clear. We must strengthen the systems that enable delivery, deepen collaboration across sectors, and remain steadfast in our commitments to evidence, integrity, and long-term thinking. In doing so, we will put science at the service of humanity and community as a source of insight and as a driver of national transformation. And what must we do next? The answer seems simple to state, but extremely demanding to deliver. We must ensure that every mission we begin yields outcomes that enable Malaysians to secure individual and collective well-being, safeguard planetary health, forge resilient communities, build stronger industries, and create a science system or science ecosystem that earns public trust. We need to move our SDIE ecosystem from fading stagnation to a dynamic state of vigor and vitality. Only then can we expect science to serve ordinary people in achieving extraordinary outcomes. This is without doubt a shared responsibility. Every fellow, every expert, and every partner in this ecosystem can and should make a significant contribution, whether through research, policy advice, mentorship, or public engagement. Each of us already has the credibility and legitimacy to play a vital role in shaping outcomes that will define Malaysia's future. Let the ASM Expert Network be a super connector and an honest broker in Malaysia's SDIE ecosystem, facilitating purposeful dialogue, and consensus building among diverse stakeholders. Everyone has a role to ensure that scientific knowledge and technological advancements are communicated clearly and transparently. This intermediary function not only fosters trust, but also promotes collaborative decision-making, enabling informed choices that promote society's positive values in addressing its true needs. To end this speech, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate Academician Tan Sri Datuk Engineer Haji Shahrizala Abdullah on being conferred the Tokoh Air Negara 2026 award. The ceremony is taking place right now, today, in Malacca. This national recognition is a fitting tribute to his lifelong contribution to Malaysia's water sector. And it is also a strong endorsement by the nation of our role as scientists in advancing the nation's progress and prosperity. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.